Today we have Essie Cupp jumping into the Shark Tank. Essie, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about this new gig, GBTV.
Right, so I'm working for Glenn Beck. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes.
We launched a new network, GBTV, a few weeks ago. I'll be doing some political commentary, coming to events like CPAC, covering debates, going on the campaign trail, and then also going to college campuses to expose liberal bias at college campuses, which is rampant. So it's going to be fun.
What did you think of the debate last night? How do you think Governor Perry or Romney, how do you think they all did as a whole?
You know, it's funny, Mitt Romney and Rick Perry will still be the front runners, but I actually think they had the worst night. I thought all the rest of them, the second and third tier contenders, had a much better night. They had much better one-liners, better talking points. They seemed a little bit more emotional and passionate. And I thought Romney and Perry looked a little flaccid compared to them. But again, that said, they'll be fine. They'll still be the front runners going forward.
You think Perry will continue to have issues with his immigration position?
Throughout the primary, certainly, but I think if he makes it to the general election, a lot of Perry's issues will no longer matter. They're really good fodder for a primary, and certainly the other candidates are right to sort of pick them apart on them. But if he can survive this primary, they won't really be much of a big deal during the general.
Now, you mentioned with GBTV you're going to be covering the campaign now. Yeah. Specific campaigns or just the general elections, the presidential? Will you be traveling to Florida, other states to? Yeah,
I'll be going wherever the stories are. So, you know, I went to some campaign events up in New Hampshire earlier with Herman Cain and Thad McCotter, who's no longer in the race. I'll be going to all of the debates, of course, and wherever there's a good story, I'll be there. I'm on the Hill a lot, interviewing people for GBTV, so wherever there's action, that's where I go.
What do you think of Senator Marco Rubio? A lot of talk about him being the #1 choice for VP. What do you think of that?
Marco Rubio's great, but he's young and new, and it would be risky for him, I think, to hook up with another you know, sort of establishment Republican. And let's face it, Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, one of them will likely get the nomination. They're establishment. And what Rubio has going for him now is that he's still very much an outsider and still very much sort of beholden to a Tea Party kind of ethic. He loses a little of that if he hooks up with someone like Mitt Romney or Rick Perry and then has to go traveling around the country defending those guys and their years of experience. You know, I'm sure he could survive it and he'll be just fine. He's a great guy and a really compelling leader, but it's a risk for him. He's in a unique position where he's completely credible. That goes away exponentially as you spend more time in DC.
Sarah Palin, what do you think? Will she get in or not?
I don't know. You never know what Sarah Palin's going to do, and she's always been sort of unconventional in terms of her leadership and what she does. I think, frankly, it would annoy a lot of the candidates if she got in right now. They've been putting in the work, and for her to just sort of jump in, I'm sure would annoy a lot of them. That said, it would be a lot of fun to watch.
Now, I have to ask you, a lot of my friends have been inquiring about you and have asked you, when are you going to interview Essie Cupp? And they all, actually there's a group of them outside in the hallway asking me the million-dollar question about you.
What is it?
Are you single or not?
Oh, you know, I don't answer that question ever because there's no good answer. If I say I am, you know, then I get a lot more uncomfortable emails than I already do.
Yes,
if I say that I'm not, then everyone wants to know who I'm dating, and that's not fair to whoever I may or may not be dating. So I just don't answer it.
I can relate with you. Essie Cupp, thank you very much for jumping
You're
in the Shark
welcome.
Tank.
Thanks.